Go. So when we have two lines intersecting, all sorts of things happen, like I went over on warm-up. You have linear pair angles and you have vertical angles too. So depending on how these angles are situated, I'm going to create the appropriate equation based on whatever is given to me. Kind of like you have to play the cards that you're dealt. If you're playing blackjack or poker, you have to go with what the cards you're dealt with. So we have four angles here. I'm looking for angles that have the same variable. Okay? I don't want to look for angles that have two separate variables that are different, because right now at your math level, you guys can't hang with equations that have two separate variables. You're not at that level yet. You want to focus on equations that have one variable only. So I'm looking at two angles that have the same variable, and right now I see this angle. Let me get my marker right here. I notice this angle here and this angle have x in it. Okay? We have to solve for x. So now I ask myself, what's the relationship between these two angles? Are they vertical or are they linear pair? They're linear. Look at the non-common sides form a line. Exactly. They're linear pair. So I know that this angle and this angle are what? One more time. Beautiful. What's the name for 180? Angles that have to be 180. I know that lady had those cheesy. One more time. They're supplementary. So I know that angle AED right here plus angle DEB right here equal 180. And just by sheer logic, I mean, look at the way they look. It's half a circle if you add them up. So who can tell me the equation that I'd write out to solve for x based on that knowledge using logic? What would be the equation I write out? Anybody? Go ahead, Gomez. Okay, so you're saying this angle equals this angle. Okay. So give me the equation. Ms. Martinez, hit it. What does supplementary mean? They both have to be 180. So what would be the equation then? See that logic? This angle plus this angle equals 180. There's the equation. There's the move. So write it with me. So I'm gonna put two arrows here and here. So on your notes, just for yourself, put linear pair. We'll put three dots. Remember what does three dots mean? Therefore, look at the equation I'm going to put. Therefore, 3x plus 5 plus x plus 15 equals 180. Rest is math one time. Like terms, yeah. 3x and 1x. What does that become? 4x, exactly. So 3x and 1x is 4x. So we have 4x plus 20 equals 180. Rest of math 1 skills, huh? This is why you took math 1 before you got to me. Bye-bye to that. I have 4x equaling 160. So we'll divide by 4 now. X is help. Let's not get all happy though. One variable out of the way. Let's get the other variable now. It's easy? Yeah. Beautiful. What angles now, Torres? That got very difficult very fast. So. Got you. So part of the work done now, check this out. Let's solve for y now. Okay. What's the relationship between these two angles? Then your pair also, look at the non-common sides form a line, so they also add up to be 180. They're also supplementary. Same thing. So give me the equation, Gomez. Give it to me. Nice. Nice. Awesome. You guys with me? Let's do this.
4y minus 15 plus y plus 20.
So like terms,
The first is just y.
the 1y and the 4y make what? 5y plus 5 plus 20 minus 15 to 5 equals 180. Let's start solving for y now. 5y then is 175. Math 1 stuff now. 35 up. Yeah. Now we can get happy because our mission is accomplished. Y and x have been solved for. Based on our angle knowledge. Now there's just values of x because the degrees are actually this. Now look at the degrees. It's actually a good question. Which is actually going to be related to our last example right now. Look at the degrees of this angle. This angle is actually y plus 20 degrees. Huh? So what was y? 35. So if you want to know the actual degrees of this angle, 35 plus 20, 55. So the degrees are actually 55. Does that make sense, Miss? You substitute the value of y. We know what x is. X was what? 40. So 40 times 3 plus 5. So this angle is 125 degrees. And look at, it makes sense. If you add these up, they're 180. 125 plus 55 is 180. Okay. But for this example, all I was asking is to solve for x and y. And that's when will be where we actually have to substitute our values for the variables. Good question. Any other questions here before we go on to our last example? Hit it.
So once you solve it, you find the x and the y, what do you do after?
Well, that was the mission. Huh? Look at that was it. We're done.
That's all we have to do, right?
For now. But now look at the next example. It's a little different. So that's good. I like how you guys are thinking. Last example. Example 3 comes right there. I'll give you a minute to write this down. You actually have to write a sentence. Actually, 2 sentences. 2 of them. Want to write that down? Solo. Okay, so it's asking us to assume something. Assume that angle A is supplementary to B. We know what this means. So we're going to use some logic based on the definition of that. So it says angle A is supplementary to B, but it's also something else at the same time. Look at it. It's also this. Look at it. Complementary to angle C. So angle A is 2 things at one time. It's supplementary to B and complementary to C. My Math 1 class from period 1, a student asked me, should we draw a picture of the situation? And my answer is, we don't have to draw any pictures because we can use sheer logic in terms of the definition of these 2 words, Doris, and form some equations. But look at the final mission, though. The mission is actually right here. Determine, what does little m mean? What does measure mean? The measure, the degrees, the degrees of angle A, the degrees of angle B, and the degrees of angle C. Whenever you say little m, we're talking about the degrees now. And look at, they gave us some clues about what A, B, and C are. Angle A is this many degrees. Look at it. Angle B is this many degrees. And angle C is this many degrees. Notice how all of them have an x in it. So if we somehow, some way are able to find out what x is, we can accomplish the mission, which is to determine the degrees, because once we know what x is, we'll just place it right in here. It'll be x plus 10 degrees. We'll place the same x in there, 12 times x plus 1 degrees. Place the same x in here, 5 times x plus 2 degrees. So our first objective, our mission, is to figure out what x is. Now, how will we do that? Any ideas? Okay, so what equation do you have in mind, Mr. Lopez?
1x
Equals, finish it with the equation, equals. That was an expression, give me a big long expression, equals. So all three angles equal 180.
No, wait, it's complementary, 90 degrees.
Okay. So want to backtrack, go and backtrack. Lopez, give me some.
Because it says B is complementary to C, but
No, it doesn't say that. Read it closely. A is two things at one time, huh?
Oh, okay, all right.
Nice. So watch this. I can form two separate equations based on this word right here. Actually, based on the word supplementary. Okay, that's my first equation. So I'll put option 1. I'm going to give you options. You take the option you like. Option 1 is, look, A is supplementary to B, which means the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B equal 180. That's option 1. Well, let me give you another option. Option 2 has to do with complementary. So I'll put option 2. The measure of angle A plus the measure of angle what? C is 90. Either one of these equations will enable you to solve for x. You take the one you want. It doesn't matter. Okay? I'm going to go with the red for now. Option 2. You could go with the blue. Knock yourself out. Doesn't matter. So look at the red one, option 2. I'm going to substitute angle A with what angle A is. I'll substitute angle C with what angle C is, and then use some algebra to solve for x. What is angle A? Nice. Plus, nice, 5x plus 2 equals 90. Now it's math 1 time again. Nice. 5x minus is 6x plus 12 is 90. Let's subtract 12 from both sides. 6x then is 78. I'm horrible with mental math. Divide by 6. X is 13. Let's not get all happy because the mission is actually now, remember? This is the mission. We found x. Now we've got to find the measure of every angle. Each expression, remember the word expression? Look at, here's an expression, here's an expression, here's an expression. So we know what x is, we're ready to rock and roll. Ready? By the way, I got a new guitar. What about the buttons? Ready? Measure of angle A is 23 degrees. Right? X plus 10. 13 plus 10. X is 13. Right? Measure of angle B, 157 now. So 12 times 13 is 156 plus 1 is 157 degrees. Again, put the bubble, put the degree symbol. Right, Arcos? Measure of angle C is 67, you sure? 5 times 13 plus 2, 67, awesome. Mission accomplished, folks. We can verify that we're right in case you're like a self-doubter. You doubt yourself, you tend to do that. Never. look at A and B. If they add up to be 180, they do look at 157 plus 23 is 180. And then look at A and C. 23 plus 67 is 90. It works out. Right? Go ahead and